So this video originally started out as a video about Spider-Man props, like the Raimi costume pieces that are apparently floating around on eBay at the moment. I saw a very similar video to something that I would make, and I thought, oh, I want to have a look. I want to see what's out there on eBay. Anyway, started having a look, and then I found something else on eBay that I just had to talk about because holy shit, as an Elm Street fan, this is huge and so cool at the same time, and very expensive. Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. So today it's a very interesting little video. David Miller, the original makeup artist for Robert Englund on Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984, has supposedly started offering busts utilizing the molds for the appliances that he used to generate the prosthetics to put on Robert's face as Fred Krueger, and he's now started offering these as silicone busts. Now it's also a bit of a trip back in time because I don't know if some of you guys remember the early 2000s when David Miller Creations was hot and heavy on eBay. Not only with Freddy Krueger stuff, but Jason Voorhees stuff. He has a very eclectic eBay page, and he's somewhat come back over the years on eBay. So we're going to be checking out the other items that he has. But the main focus, the piece de resistance of this video, is this part 1 bust made of silicone and urethane and also acrylic eyes that utilizes the molds that were used to generate the prosthetics for Nightmare on Elm Street 1. Now there is a bit of eyebrow raising because I thought the molds were destroyed, and as far as I knew, there are only 2 busts in existence, and I know both gentlemen that own them. So here we are on eBay, and this is originally what I had searched and what I was looking up. So, you know, some screen used Spider-Man pieces. So of course you can see I've already clicked on here. This is a screen used piece of the suit, supposedly a framed Spider-Man 2 screen used prop costume piece. 10,000 USD to be precise of that little swatch, which is, you know, that is a big chunk of change. So I kept going down. I'm like, let's see what else they got. Any other costume pieces? We've got a Grinch piece here. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Painted Grinch appliances. 699 bucks. Not bad. Supposedly mounted on a vacuform Jim Carrey piece. So that's pretty cool. Not bad. We've also got a black Spider-Man suit from Spider-Man 3. The symbiote costume. 2,800. Not bad at all. I've got a Coneheads piece. Harry Potter. Now, if we just keep cruising down, something caught my eye. Right here. Freddy 1 silicone display head from original screen used molds. 1,700 USD. As soon as I saw this, I knew exactly what it was. Because like I said, I only thought 2 of these were made, and I know both gentlemen that have these pieces. And as far as I knew, the molds had worn out, and they were no longer usable. Now, if we head on over to David Miller's actual eBay page, he used to be called Elmo's Cave back in the day. It's now called David Miller Creations. But you look through and he has some gems here. We're obviously going to touch on the bust shortly, but he also has the molds for the baby Freddy from A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. And he makes display puppets. Now, I've seen a few people buy these over the years and seen them in people's collections. Most notably, my good friend Christian of Planet CHH here on YouTube. He loves that piece, and it is actually a very cool piece. It's very niche, and obviously it's not the greatest Elm Street film, but the fact that David Miller offers these because he's got the molds is really cool. Not only that, he offers masks that come from the molds, the stunt mask molds from Elm Street 1, 5, and 7, aka Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now, he does gloves as well, but as far as I know, David Miller never made any gloves for the film. Him and his crew may have had to crudely scrap build a glove together for a certain gag or effect, and this could be the templates, but as far as I know, he never built a glove. There's also a Doctor Who Dalek, 4,495. So it's cool, you know, you get the option of also like the black and white Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. There's obviously the part 1 stunt mask reproduction, which I used to have. I used to have the part 1. It was gorgeous. It was a beautiful starting piece if you want to get into the world of like bust collecting and stuff like that. Elm Street 5, Elm Street 7, and they're really well priced. Like, they are dirt cheap. That's $125.20 USD. That is fuck all considering you are getting something from a mold that's, you know, has screen lineage. That's great. You can also get blank castings if you want to paint one up yourself. You got a Friday the 13th Jason display head. Now, I've always eyed off the Part 7 concept bust. This isn't the final look. This is what was sculpted by David Miller during the pre-production of Wes Craven's New Nightmare to show Wes Craven what Freddy would look like with the makeup and, you know, just like a concept sweater, which is pretty cool. And then we go all the way down the bottom. Yes, there's a hockey mask, Beethoven and Missy Dog Puppet mechanical bodies from Beethoven 2. What the fuck, man? $2,200. That is pretty damn good, if I may say. I don't know if they're full size. But of course, let's check out the listing for the actual bust. So again, Freddy 1 silicon head display from original screen used molds. That is the only time it gets the mention original screen used molds. If we quickly just go down to the description, Nightmare 1 silicon Freddy head display with acrylic eyes created by David Miller Creations. All the legal mumbo jumbo. This high quality display head is made from heavy duty silicon and is constructed over a urethane plastic life cast bust of actor Robert Englund. It is meticulously painted by David Miller so that it matches the original paint scheme from the first Nightmare film. The acrylic eyes are embedded into the life cast bust to add a touch of realism. This display head is mounted on a wooden base and painted flat black. The sweater in some of the pictures is not included. You get a certificate of authenticity. This display comes with its own unique certificate of authenticity from David Miller Creations and is signed personally by David Miller, Freddy Krueger's original makeup creator. And then you've got your delivery time. Now let's cruise on up and take a look at these photos. So this is indeed the same bust that two of my friends have that supposedly were just one of two of two. And then I also heard that the molds were no longer usable. They had dried out severely. And as far as I was concerned, they were destroyed. But looking at this piece, it looks like a winner. And I've been comparing it to behind the scenes photos of Robert in the makeup. And it's one of those things where, like, obviously I've got my, hang on. There are some people that don't realize that what's in front of me right now. So we're looking at this. There I am. Hello. But then also I got this guy here looking at me. Well, sort of. So I actually got reference from one of my friends who has this bust to help with that bust 3D file that Sean Dabbs designed. And when you think about it, when you look at it, the Part 1 makeup isn't that detailed. It's very soft. And that's why when I'm comparing this to the screen used makeup and behind the scenes photos of Robert in the makeup, it's a match. It's pretty close. Like, there are certain areas that look a bit different because you're using silicone as opposed to foam latex, and things like can move around and stuff like that. And it's probably like I don't know if David Miller is using the same life cast that he used on Robert back in 1984. Who knows? Or he's got a much more recent one from, say, the later 80s, which shouldn't really matter. But at the same time, if you're using the original, it definitely does help with that particular form. And then we've got the photos here with the sweater. I actually prefer it without the sweater. Now, what's interesting, this bust looks different to this bust. This one looks way more detailed. I love the paint scheme on this. Look, you got the subtle blues, the charring, everything just looks so more three-dimensional, whereas this looks just, it could just use a little bit more. It could very well be the same bust, just different lighting conditions. That's a great shot right there. And that is when the silicone comes into play, where it just looks more fleshy. Obviously, foam latex is what they used back in the day, and it definitely has that opaque quality. But then with the silicone, you get the translucent, realistic quality that it's like spongy, slimy, and wet and freshly burnt skin. But this is so cool. The fact that this is available now, like I never thought I'd see the day, and I was so envious of my two mates that had those busts. Will I get it? I don't know. Like, it's a lot of money. I'm happy with my life-size display. But for the most part, this video is kind of a way to like spread awareness, to be like, hey, if you guys have like been jonesing for this and you don't have anything yet, here is your chance. Like, obviously it is a big chunk of change. Like from USD to AUD, it's just over 2,500 Australian dollars. But it's actually not bad when you consider what you're getting. Like, if it were up to me, I'd love it in foam latex, but at the same time, the foam latex will eventually deteriorate and lose what it started out to be and lose its oomph. I don't know if you guys remember, like several years ago, Kevin Yeager, the makeup artist for Elm Street 2, 3, and 4, broke the molds out of storage from Elm Street 2, and he's got a video on his YouTube channel of him doing the exact same thing, but obviously making a one-off bust. If Kevin Yeager started offering the part 2, I would jump on it so quickly over the part 1. Because like I said, I've obviously got my part 1, I got the smiling one, I got the neutral expression, so I'm happy with that. But if Yeager started offering those part 2 busts like David Miller's offering the part 1, holy shit, that would be amazing. Because I love the part 1 and part 2 makeup, and like, it's one of those things where like, it's like if you have 2 kids, you don't really have a favorite, but secretly you do. There you go, guys. Once again, another very niche video. But yeah, yesterday morning, I just stumbled across that. I don't know how long these have been up on eBay for. There's probably some of you watching that have been like, fuck's sake, mate, it's been out for ages, catch up. But it's very cool nonetheless, and I never thought I'd see the day. Like, before 2 of my mates that have those busts acquired them, I thought the molds were just long gone. Like, David Miller destroyed them, or they just dried out, they got damaged, I don't know. But apparently they're alive and well. Whether or not he's made copies of the molds so they're much more fresh to cast the silicone, I have no idea, but it's bloody awesome nonetheless. Also, a massive thank you to everyone that has dropped their Friday the 13th puns in the Friday the 13th screen use prop video. I'm going to be announcing the winner at 9 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. So that's in 2.5 hours. And that's when I've just filmed this. So you're probably looking at 2 hours, an hour and a half from now. So yeah, I'll reply to the dirtiest pun and we'll go from there. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.